And we're live. Sorry about the lack of warning today. I will allow a few people, hopefully, to get in the room. Otherwise, I'll just kind of go. It's going to be a short show. I have to go to Kalamazoo and work. Because if we don't work, well, we don't have anything, you know. It's a gorgeous day here. The weather is perfect in the Kalamazoo area in southwestern Michigan. You're talking probably going to be about 79 degrees, sunny, light breeze. This is now summer that I love, although it's almost fall. But with that being said, I do want to say right away, as being a liberal as I am, good morning, Dandy. As being liberal as I am, you guys know that, I like to take advantage of all my amendments. And I think that my idea of liberalism may be just a little bit different than some of these so-called liberals out there. First of all, there will be no celebration when extremely conservative people who we don't agree with are and bled out on stage in front of their family and friends to die. I find it highly disgusting that any liberal out there or Democrat or anyone would in any way celebrate the death of this man, Charlie Kirk. Now, I'm not saying that what he had to say was great, but the tenements of our Constitution set forth by the Founding Fathers gives him the full right to make those statements in a lawful manner. And if he's not able to do that, it is a slippery slope to the rest of us not being able to do that. So any time the First Amendment of our Constitution is shut down with violence, that's something that every single American, every single democracy-loving country and or government around the world should take note of and come out against with a very hard, impactful statement. So with that being said, again, my heart goes out to the Kirk family and friends, and that's just not the way to handle things, guys. I mean, we know better than that, than to get onto a roof hundreds of yards away with a scope through throngs of cheering people, children, and family members, to then shoot someone in the neck and have them most traumatically bleed out in front of all those people. That's going to be with them forever. Mr. Kurtz is no longer, and his whole family and friends are going to have to deal with watching their loved one die in front of them like that. And I find that highly disgusting. Dandy's saying that she's heartbroken over yesterday's events. Yeah, Dandy, I mean, it's a coward's move. You know, anytime you shut down the voice of opposition with violence, it's a coward's move. Because that means that your point isn't valid enough to debate, apparently. I mean, I don't feel that way. I think liberals have a lot of great points, but I think once we start compromising our principles with weapons, which are great for defense, you know, no problem there. But once we switch that up, I don't want the whole show to be, and it's not going to be a very long show. We're going to pop on for a few minutes and pop out, because I do got to get to work. But I did want to pop on and say that, and then also mention that as I'm watching Richard Dolan, Intelligent Disclosure, we're going to give a shout out and plug to Mr. Richard Dolan. His channel here on YouTube can be found at Richard Dolan Intelligent Disclosure. I'm not going to put a link and all that. I'm not great with that stuff. That's what I need mods for, so they can put up other people's links and stuff. It's too cumbersome during the broadcast to do that. But I would encourage you to go there to as they say in the vernacular, sub up to Mr. Dolan. And be aware that he's a college-educated genius on the history of military UFO interaction. I find it highly interesting that he started out today's broadcast calling it a fireside chat, even though he was indoors with no green screen of a fire. And that's something we do on almost maybe 3 times a week. I'm always, hey, Grandma, how you doing? Yeah, I can't stay either. So that makes two of us. I was just sort of popping on for a second to, I noticed a lot of similarities. I would be so honored if, and I'm kind of joking, half joking about it, but the idiosyncrasies are kind of odd when Richard he starts out a show saying, welcome to a fireside chat, and I highlight his name in a lot of my posts because I do respect him so much. I would love, in my fantasy world as a pizza delivery boy. I mean, Richard Dolan has been on multiple television shows, news channels. He's a well-known celebrity, if you will. With a high Q rating. His wife is a well-known remote viewer, Tracy. Lovely lady. And but in my head, he asked her, to remote view the hippest, most raw live show on this subject that he could maybe co-panel. And she came up with us. And I thank you, Tracy, because I agree. We are something different over here. One, you have a host that has the ability to draw from a lot of knowledge when it comes to these individual UFO cases. Me, Derek Farmer. I've studied a lot of those cases. Two, although not college educated, I've got world experience. I've seen things, I've recorded them, and I've had them verified by Scott Roeder, crime scene reconstruction specialist and video analytics expert from the evidence room. Email chain provided upon request. Now, I found it odd, too, that Richard goes on in his broadcast today to talk about the pyramids, which he's highly interested in, me too, and to talk about the autonomous 3D UFO printing machine in the Bermuda Triangle per the 4chan whistleblower. That's something we did almost an entire broadcast on the other night. Is Richard Dolan watching our channel? What do you guys think? I hope so. I sure hope so. And if he is, I want to say thank you for watching. And also, I meant what I said. Whether we're consulting behind the scenes or whether you just want someone to fill time with that is knowledgeable on this subject, that can bounce things to you like a good co-host would. I'm open after my delivery shift. That's all. Okay, with that being said, everybody, I told you it was going to be quick. We're popping out. I wanted to say that about Mr. Kirk's and that assassination, that political assassination yesterday. Hopefully that that perpetrator will be brought to the full force of American justice via the FBI. That's what we're hoping for, and a quick resolution. We don't want this person who's a murderer running around, regardless of their views or wherever they. Yeah, you know what? Grandma, it can't hurt. Your friend got murder sheet on his channel for an interview. I just saw that. I think that's my friend too. Are you talking Cryptex? Not Cryptex. Wait, who just had them on? Grandma, if you don't mind saying that before you go. Yeah, well, Richard Dolan, though, Grandma, no offense to the Kevin Greenlee and what's her name, but those are just podcasters on YouTube. I mean, Richard Dolan has written several volumes. He's a very well-respected author. His second volume on military undersea anomalies is coming out momentarily. He's doing on a show was talking. Thanks, Dandy. I hope it is. Yesterday was pretty good. I don't mind working, you guys. You get out there and you start doing it, and then the money starts coming in, and it propels you to want to just go. Because when you're delivering or waiting tables or doing something in the service industry like I do, the more you take, the more you make. And nobody gets them around that town like I do. I can guarantee you that I don't need GPS. I don't need a map. I don't need any robot chick to tell me where to turn in Kalamazoo, Michigan. So I have that advantage. I was at one time going to write my own book of pizza delivery shortcuts, but the internet got big. I figured they could find them on their own, But I mean, when I get binging back and forth, let me tell you what, when I'm delivering and I'm in my zone, You guys, it's exciting to me even still. And you go, well, after 30 some years, I've been delivering since the waning hours of Ronald Reagan's presidency. After so many years of doing the same thing, multiple thousands and thousands and thousands of times, how do you keep doing it? Well, how do you not get so sick of it? Isn't it the same thing over and over? And I say it's absolutely not the same thing over and over. When you drive to the store, do you see the exact same things that you see every time you drive to that store? Or do you see a little bit different picture every time you drive there? I've seen people's children be born, not born, like I'm not in the labor room. I've seen the babies go to school, graduate high school, go to college, and start families of their own, all while delivering to them in my cycle in Kalamazoo throughout my life. Okay? So when you talk about Kalamazoo's most famous delivery person, that's something and a badge I wear with honor. When you talk about UFO, UAP, USO, historical research, that's something that Richard Dolan wears with honor. We only bloviate about it. People like Richard Dolan research it for a living and then go on to author books about such things without a ghostwriter. They're able to write, edit, and publish these books on their own. Although I'm sure Richard Dolan has a mainstream publisher because he is that good. You know. Yeah, Dandy, it is all about perspective. You're so right because, like I said, I mean, I could look at it as, oh, here I go again. I'm driving down the road, you know. Or I can go, wait a minute. I'm seeing people that I've never seen. I'm talking to people I've never talked to. I'm hearing stories and content, quite frankly, for our show gathering every single day out there in the community. And that's how I treat it when I'm out there. I don't just ho-hum it. I actively participate in my community. If I see somebody needs help, I help them. If I see somebody needs a ride, I ask them in bad weather. I don't care. I don't care if people go, well, who's the big, scary, hairy guy asking me if I want a ride? Because I'd rather have that than someone in distress. That one time going, why doesn't anyone ever stop or care? I need you. I need you. You can feel it. And then people just drive right by. I'm not going to be one of those guys. Not in my town. And when the Proud Boys came to town, I had a broken leg and a cast. I was out there in the road throwing rocks at those bastards with the rest of the good folks. With the red dots on my forehead from their scopes. And the police treating them like royalty in our town. It's disgusting. The Kalamazoo Police Department should be disbanded and rehired and paid more. There. I'm not anti-law enforcement. I'm anti those people. They should all be replaced because they let the Proud Boys come into Kalamazoo and beat up homeless people. Sick. Fuck you, Kalamazoo. And with that being said, I would like to say, everyone, please have a great afternoon. I'm heading off there now myself to deliver pizza to Western Michigan University, to South Portage, and to the lovely lakes around the Gull Road and Gull Lake area. I love the people, but I don't like the government there. That's one of the reasons I moved out of that town. I'm the guy that defended my home against a knife-wielding masked suspect trying to gain entry into my home, and my weapon was taken as a legal homeowner. Fuck you, Kalamazoo. You don't deserve my tax base or anyone else's. Good day to you also, Dandy. Thank you, Grandma, for stopping in. I think we had about 2 people watching, but you know what? There was no planning. It's a quick live, and I really don't care. I came on with an agenda to make those bullet points for a change. Usually I'm just blah, blah, blah for 3 hours. Today, I actually had something I wanted to say. I've said it. The Kalamazoo thing was ad-libbed. But hats off to Richard Dolan. And Richard, if by chance you're watching my broadcast, know that you're dealing with someone who can never has dead air. I'll put it that way. Who can fill the time slot in a most interesting way. And who understands how to do this broadcast thing on an amateur level. Look, I didn't go to a Boston University and get a broadcasting degree like Howard Stern did, but I've loved good broadcasters my whole life, and I've been paying attention. With that being said, djfarmer.llc@gmail.com or P.O. Box 190, Edwardsburg, Michigan 49112. Hit me up. Be glad to do anything you want to do. I don't cost any money whatsoever. I'm free of charge. Have a great day, and we will talk to you guys soon from the mountaintop in the swamp. This has been the Derek Farmer Network. Thank you.